All right, Isaac with WXPI, and I'm now here with...
Emily Rizzo. I came down from Millerton, Pennsylvania, up in Tioga County.
Now, did you organize the Williamsport Occupy movement?
No, I did not. I saw it on Facebook, I think this morning, and decided that it was something we needed to be here for. So I came down with my husband, and I'm not even sure who organized it, but that's the great thing about these demonstrations that are going on all across the country. They are simply grassroots movements that are spontaneous, and I think there are about 250 of them at various cities around the country. I just heard from a cousin who lives in Portland, Oregon, and she was at one of these last night.
Everybody has a broad range of issues that make them frustrated with our situation right now in this country. For some people, it has to do with the military-industrial complex. For some people, it has to do with a pay-or-die system of health care. For others, it's just simply that the bankers have been taking advantage of us for so long. Is there one issue that stands out to you more than others?
That's a tough question because since 2003, I've been part of a weekly peace vigil up in Elmira, New York. So I've been protesting wars going back to 1965 with the Vietnam War. I also feel very strongly about health care. I'm lucky I'm a retiree. I have health insurance. My husband does. I have a 37-year-old son. He has no insurance. So I worry about him. And as for jobs, I'm lucky I'm a retiree. I feel sorry for the kids today. They live in such insecurity.
Heather, what brought you out today?
I want to change, and I'm hoping to make one little by little with everybody.
Is there any particular issue that stands out to you more than others?
I think the environmental issues are a super concern. Our kids are going to be screwed. We're just about there anyways.
And which sign are you holding up today?
It's time for an economy that works for everyone.
What brought you out today?
Well, I want to support my brothers in Wall Street, and also want to just raise awareness of some of the financial injustices that our society sees today. Education should be a right. That's one of the ideas that the Wall Street organizers, the Occupy Wall Street organizers, are talking about. Is education should be a right. We should not be indebted for tens of thousands of dollars just to have an education. That's my focus here.
There's a plethora of reasons why people come out to support this movement and make this continue to swell and get attention. As far as education goes, would you agree that maybe education is a right only in civilized societies?
Only in civilized societies?
In other words, for some societies haven't had a chance to mature long enough to develop. I mean, just to be real, there are countries out there that don't have the abundance. They don't have all the people that they would need to be able to have a simple school. So other people have to come in and help them learn. But doesn't it seem like if you're going to be civilized, that your basic needs are taken care of because you're trying to take care of one another so that you can explore the human potential, in which case you would take care of making sure everybody has an education. You would make sure everybody is taken care of if they have any sicknesses.
Yes, exactly. In a civilized society, it should be taken care of. As far as if you're sick, you shouldn't be put out to pasture if you're sick and disabled. Being in a civilized society, yes, I understand. There's still countries that have they basically live out of shacks and huts, and if we all pooled our resources, we would be able to bring everybody up a notch to where we were maybe 200-300 years ago. That's maybe where they are today.
That's a fact. Actually, for the amount of money that the world spends on the military, this is all countries combined. In 8 days, that could feed the entire planet.
We do have to protect ourselves, but we're searching for energy. I don't know what the solution for that is either, but we're too dependent. Americans use a third more energy than the Europeans do, just because their cities are more dense and they're not as reliant on automobiles, and their gasoline has higher taxes. They pay more, they use less.
And meanwhile, this is all a finite system that we will run out of, as opposed to maybe being more imaginative, thinking about systems that work in cooperation with the Earth's natural production. Like there's tidal forces, there's geothermal, there's wind, there's solar. So what you're saying is if we were to eliminate the factor of needing a fossil fuel as an energy resource, perhaps we could pull back in some of this money that's being spent on military.
If energy was free and people did not have to worry about energy or fight over energy, the wars, there would not be as many wars. Yes, there's always going to be something, a territory, but yes, I think that would be a game changer. And there's some interesting scientific research on free energy or type systems that I'm hoping that will help. And if that does come if that is a reality, I'm hopeful that with energy being free, there would be less war, more money to go around for everybody, to bring everybody up to the same standard of living.
It seems to me that when you have children, you're able to see life in a little bit more of a broader spectrum. You can see a bigger picture because you're concerned about the future.
Yes.
And so you're not looking at the world myopically.
Yeah. I want their life to be better than mine. And the way things are looking right now, it's not looking very good. I've talked to my father about this recently and asked him what it was like in the 70s when he was working before I was around, and you were able to get a job anywhere and make good money, get a big down payment to buy a house, to buy a car. I remember he bought a brand new car working at a factory. The Chinese are experiencing that now because their middle class is raising, where ours is falling. And to get back to that, I don't know what it's going to take. With my upbringing, I think I do think responsibly for the environment. I do think differently now that I have my kids.
I'm standing here because I'm an angry part of the 99%. And I feel that the Obama job bill should be passed with a tax on the rich. And anyone who says and justifies removing the tax is illogical and irrational because they're not the ones creating jobs. What these folks do is go out and buy another yacht or another house. The CEOs who get the raises upon raises upon raises. And so I'm a part of the 99% and an angry part of it, too. And I think we have to get the job bill passed and other reforms so that we can get straightened out again.
How optimistic are you that with enough energy from the grassroots level, which is what this is, that we can actually convince our politicians who more and more, to an overwhelming degree, are actually paid servants to the very companies that you're protesting? How optimistic are you that you can get anyone from a Democratic or Republican party to actually hear and vote in your interest?
I think we're going to make them very, very nervous. And that may get them to reassess their attachments to corporations. And honesty, I don't know whether they can remember what honesty is all about, and to consider the 99% rather than whoever they're getting paid by. We're paying them, in essence. They should think about us, not the corporations. And it's tough when you're a politician. You've got to win the election. Well, we've got to figure out how to win elections without having such interests taking control. I mean, when I think of Target and the money they laid out for the vote in Minnesota, I don't go to Target anymore. Sorry, I really don't. I tore up my card, I sent them a letter, and I won't go. If I can withhold dollars from major banks